what stands out to you about those guys?
The main thing that stands out, it starts with their trigger man, the quarterback, Zach Wilson. He's a pretty good player. He's actually a really good player. So he does a really good job of running the offense. And I think that, obviously he's definitely the main guy, the main focal point of their offense. I think as you look at their offensive line, they're big. They work well together. I think those guys have proven themselves to be one of the best O-lines in the country. 2 good running backs and a bunch of receivers and some big tight ends. It's a good offense. Definitely a challenge. I know our guys are excited about the opportunity to go out and showcase what we can do.
Coach Jared with the Daily News again. I know you mentioned some of those receivers. Looking back to their last game against Texas State, I know that the margin of victory was pretty large and they got a bunch of guys in there, but I think they had like 14 guys catch passes, something ridiculous like that. With that many different options, I guess, how difficult does that make that on you guys?
I mean, they definitely have a lot of guys running around and catching balls. And, we feel like, that hasn't been really the focus. The focus has been making sure that we execute what we need to do when the call is called and make sure you own the right guy, whoever that guy may be. But they definitely have some guys that stand out. They do play a lot of guys. So.
Coach, is there anything specific in the tape that you noticed your team did last week that you feel like has to be fixed before facing BYU?
I really feel like, when we have opportunities on third downs to make plays and get off the field, you have to execute during that pressure moment. I think the first drive last week we had, somebody slipped and then we didn't get off the field on the third play of the game, which would have been a different outcome. When the opportunity presents itself, a tip ball or fumble, we have to take advantage of those opportunities when you play on a team like a BYU.
Coach Jared McDonald with the Daily News. Coach Helton talking on Monday. With a team like BYU, they're going to move the ball. They're going to put points on the board, but the key is going to be holding them to field goals in some of those situations. Yes. I think they're 29 of 33 scoring when they get into their red zone. What's going to be the biggest key in trying to make sure that they aren't getting in the end zone and you have to hold them to field goals?
That's a great question. We talked about it today as a staff and a defense. The first thing is, obviously execute your plan when you get down there. I think understanding going through all the film and making sure that they don't get big plays for touchdowns. So we kind of want to work some red zone defense this week to make sure they're not catching 40 and 50-yard runs. And so once they get down there, we have to buckle up and make sure we get our jobs done. And they have a lot of guys that they have a lot of weapons in the red zone. The quarterback, picks up his run game some. They have some receivers that have some back of the end zone catches, but we got to just, play and understand, their strengths and our strengths as well.
Your defense, I know there was some issues those first couple of weeks, especially on third down, but it seems like you guys have really settled in the veteran group. Looking at Brian's notes, it looks like a little over 300 yards per game allowed the last 4 games, which would put you top 20 in the nation, I believe. And pass defense especially has been good, only 90 yards on Saturday. What's been the biggest key in continuing to make these steps week by week?
Mm-hmm. Really the main thing is us understanding that it's team defense. It starts up front. It starts at linebacker and the DBs as well. We all got to just work well together as a unit. I think all those stats, when you see those things, and sometimes you think the DBs are balling, but it's really up front. Guys are helping, our disguises. It all comes together. So I think we just got to continue working that. And I think our guys have fun with third down. We got to get there and we got to execute when it's time. So that's why we could be better on third down throughout the season. We were way better a season ago, but because we executed on third down in the way we practice third down as well.
Coach, can you talk about how big of a momentum boost it will be coming into this week? Holding Chattanooga to just 10 points, especially going in against a very impressive offense in BYU.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, can you just talk about how big of a momentum boost it is coming off a week in which you only held Chad to 10 points and then going up against BYU?
I got you. So really it's huge to win a football game. We've always said, and Coach Helton always preached that winning is hard, and so we found a way to get it done on Saturday. Our guys needed it. Obviously, we didn't want to have a losing streak going into this game, really any game. But the momentum on Sunday was way better than the Sundays before, and I think that just feeds into a good week of preparation and focus, and just understanding that winning is hard, and no matter who you're playing, you got to come to play and you got to execute and do your job.
Coach Jared McDonald with the Daily News. Like you said, their quarterback, Zach Wilson, gets a lot of the attention, but they've got the 16th leading rusher in terms of total yards in the nation with Tyler Algier. What is it about their run game that kind of makes them so good, even though it kind of flies under the radar with Wilson a little bit?
Yeah, that normally how it works. Sometimes, one guy gets the more shine, but I do believe, you know, they have a two-headed monster at running back. They have Algier, and they also have cannot pronounce my man's name, LK. How about that? He does a good job as well, but I think their O-line, all those guys get overlooked, but their running game is really solid. I mean, they do a great job of running the zone, and the running back finds the soft spot every single time. They have good ball security. They're big. Tackling will be the most important thing for the Tops on Saturday.